Hi everybody, it's Meg from Books Off the Beaten Path, and it is time for another early morning book review. Yay! So before we get into our book review, I want to say give me a like, hit subscribe. If you are new here, we have a lot of fun talking about books. We have a great little community. If you're one of my subscribers that has come back, thank you. Thank you so much. I love it. Make sure that you send me a comment. Old or new friends, I just want the comments. I love the comments. I want the subscribers too, but I want the comments. Okay, so what are we going to review today? Well, we are going to review episode 13. Episode 13 by Craig DeLuey, I believe is how you pronounce that. This is not a vintage book. I'm known for my vintage. This is not a vintage book. Let me get a copyright on this. This was copyright in 2023. And I did not like this book. I feel like recently I have had some real stinkers. And I think I'm just over the modern book. How am I going to put this? How am I going to put this exactly? This book was like, have you ever driven past a car accident and, you know, the traffic's backed up so you can drive up kind of slowly and you see the cars and they're all smashed up and you can't figure out how it happened? You're like, well, if they were coming this way, then that side of the car should have been hit, but it wasn't. It was the other side. Do you ever do that? Am I the only person that happens to? That was this book. It was what happened. What is going on? It wasn't scary. They saw the ghost really early. The ghost was a little bit creepy, a little bit scary, but then it just got so weird and psychedelic in 1960s, and we're quoting One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and we're in these tunnels underneath, and then the ending was a total cop-out. I mean, it was just like, this book would not have made it through my illustrious writing group. My writing group would have stopped whoever was writing this and just said, none of this makes sense. There's no logical way to go about this. Let me tell you what it is. Okay, so this paranormal reality TV show is going to go investigate this particular place. I think it's a plantation. And it was used in the 60s, the late 60s and early 70s for these experiments, these very questionable experiments by these scientists who wanted to break the paranormal boundary and everything. And apparently they did, but all the scientists went missing. And guess what happens to the paranormal investigators? They all go missing too. And then, but it's a mixed media, which really didn't bother me. I thought that was going to be a stumbling block. So they have like they'll have diary entries, but then they'll also have these things, which are the transcripts. Oh, I've hidden my face. You probably can't hear that. They have the transcripts of the footage that they found, but how they ever found the footage, when you get to the end of the book, you're like, well, so then did they go down in the tunnels? Did the people who produced the show go down in the tunnels? Like, how did they find the diary entries and the footage without finding the bodies? And, you know, we know at least one person was killed outright, and, you know, we've got that going on. And then at the end, it's 5 years later, and we have, I guess I won't tell you the end. I want to tell you the end. But I gave it 3 stars. And the reason I gave it 3 stars was because I kept reading it. I kept turning the pages. I didn't want to DNF it. I wanted to know how he was going to pull it out. He did not pull it out in any kind of manner that I was pleased with. I did not enjoy the book, let's say, but I did keep reading it. I didn't enjoy it, but it piqued my interest enough to just know, because he had all of these storylines going on that seemed nonsensical to me. it was very down the rabbit hole. As a matter of fact, we have, what's that song? Go Ask Alice, When She's 10 Feet Tall. Who did that? Was it Jefferson Airplane? I think it might have been. Anyway, that kind of stuff is happening in here. The dead scientists are talking through the walkie-talkie, and we're not alarmed by that at all. We just talk back to them. I mean, there were so many opportunities that we could have made it spooky, but instead we ended up making it like a psychedelic drug trip, was what it was like, a psychedelic drug trip. And I didn't appreciate that, but I read it till the end, and I got to give him credit for keeping me hooked on to the end. So I gave it 3 stars, begrudgingly. If you could put that on Goodreads, I would put begrudgingly 3 stars. But I'm done with the modern book for a little bit. And the reason I'm done with the modern book for a little bit is because, and I have to articulate this correctly, there are lots of fantastic modern books out there. I've heard that James, the retelling of Tom Sawyer, is going to be a prize winner and it's going to be wonderful and everything like that. But, you know, I don't like heavy. I've read the classics. I've read a lot of the classics, you know, not all of them, but I've read the classics and everything. And I've read some modern stuff, like I read Lessons in Chemistry, which I was like, I didn't even review that one because I didn't finish it, because I just got bored with it and everything. And I thought it was silly and just didn't like that and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, the modern book anymore, I think, has gotten to where I think this is part of our problem on book 2, but more it's TikTok's fault. Yes, I'm going to blame it on TikTok. Is that it's just buying a book to read it. It's not really like the authors are not putting in, I want to write an interesting book, I want to write a sensible book, I want to write, you know, a really gripping tale and everything like that. A lot of authors do that. A lot of modern authors do that. But then more so, I think they're just churning them out with these, you know, nice covers and, you know, getting them on lists. I just want them on lists so that book TikTokers can talk about them, and, you know, reading more as just saying I'm reading as opposed to I'm reading quality. Whereas I think that my vintage books have more quality. And when I say vintage, I'm going to expand that to say I'm talking about vintage books like 50s and 60s, mid-century moderns. I love those and everything like that. But I mean, even back in the 80s, there were some pretty fantastic books. Like one was The Outsiders. When did The Outsiders come out? That's a pretty fantastic book. And S.E. Hinton used to live behind me, but I digress. Okay, so I'm back to the vintage. We're going to do the vintage, and I think I'm going to put up a poll, which I put up a couple of polls before, and they have been completely unsuccessful. But I want to try putting up another poll, and I've got 3 books here that I have the opportunity to read from the poll. Or if you guys just want to leave your vote in the comments and don't screw with the poll, that's fine with me too. First one, I've never read, Beverly Gray's Journey. And this is the first in a series. And let me read you what it says here. Beverly Gray is a delightful girl with a knack for attracting adventure and a flair for solving mysteries. Her fascinating experiences at college and as a career girl provide one of the most popular series of stories for girls available today. So this was copyright 1946. So she goes to college and she's a career girl in 1946. So that's Beverly Gray's Journey. So that's a possibility. This one is a strong possibility because I really want to know the secret. Nurse River's Secret. This is takes place at Ripplegate General Hospital. And they're tremendously excited when the film star Dawn Delaney was admitted as a patient. Everyone except Nurse Rivers, who knows a secret about the movie star. And so I'm thinking that one, let's see what the copyright date on that one. This is an old Harlequin. let's get the copyright date. It was only 50 cents. You could pick this up for 50 cents. And I think Nurse Rivers looks charming. 1965. So this was 1965, but isn't she pretty? I wish I looked like Nurse Rivers. So that's a possibility. And then we have The Ghost Parade by Margaret Sutton. This is a Judy Bolton mystery. I don't know if you guys have seen my Judy Bolton video. I will find it and link it. Here's a great end paper of Judy Bolton going down the stairs with her flashlight. She was a competitor with Nancy Drew. Here's an illustration. She was a competitor with Nancy Drew. Nancy eventually won out. But Judy was much more realistic. She was a much more realistic heroine. She had all sorts of flaws and everything. And so this is copyright 1933. So we got 1946, 1933, and 1965. And I'm just going to take a break from the modern ones for a little bit, unless you've got a recommendation for me that you think that I would really love. I will give it a try. I don't want to commit myself, because if I get a recommendation of one that I'm just totally not interested in, that's why I don't do book clubs, is because book clubs, there's always one that I just can barely get through. And I think to myself, I'm wasting my time. I don't want to be doing this. Am I rambling this morning? I feel like I'm rambling a little bit. But it's a beautiful morning here in Okie Dokie. The birds are singing, and I'm up early as usual with you for an early morning book review. And I want to thank all my new subscribers, and I want to thank all of my friends in my little community who have stayed with me. And we're having a lot of fun, and I hope you have a lot of fun. So give me a like, hit subscribe, and I will check you. Oh, wait, I forgot. Leave your comments about which one I should read. Let me go over that again. The Ghost Parade by Margaret Sutton. That's a Judy Bolton mystery. Nurse Rivers' Secret. Or Beverly Gray's Journey. Which one should be the next one? And I got to know by tonight, because I have to have something to read tonight. So get on that. All right. Well, I thank you so much for watching and making my day, and I will check you later.